I'm just gonna start recording. All right. What's up, you guys? XX Bone Gamer Phase Clan 2010 XX here. Getting ready for your video game episode. Benjamin.
Yes, Omega Fox. Oh, I mean, Irodon XX9257 Couch Potato 1234 here, and
Oh,
we're ready for this episode. What is it about, Alex?
well, it's about Fallout, Benjamin. The entire
Ooh,
series. It's the new stuff for the kids who haven't played the old ones, and it's the old ones for the old people who haven't played the new ones. I'm talking the whole series, Benjamin, except
yes.
the games I don't like, which we're not going to talk about. But it's really good, man. It's
Yeah.
really cool. What kind of post-apocalyptic fiction do you like?
Let's see. I mean, from the stuff I've seen, like it's really sad. My experience with it has really just been limited to the books I read, like Hunger Games and Divergent, which are not really like they're sort of post-apocalyptic,
Uh,
but like not
nah, I see what
really,
you mean.
like
Yeah.
not hard. Yeah, so my only experience really has just been with like books that I had read with like, Hunger Games or Divergent, those series, which like they're okay, but like they're not hardcore post-apocalyptic like Fallout. I've always been really
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's stuff out there like Wasteland is pretty close. The game you get like Cormac McCarthy's The Road. It's way
Oh
more
yeah, I've heard of
hardcore.
that.
I mean, you got a million movies, but Fallout's one of the big ones, at least in the game
Yeah.
world. Uh, I'm gonna drop a short. I'm gonna keep it abridged here, and you know how I can ramble. A short summary of the whole thing. So it's basically an alternate universe where uh, the world the world's oil started running out faster. So we invested in nuclear means of power, which make like a nuclear family is literally a nuclear family.
Right.
You have nuclear batteries in your car or your oven and stuff like that. The world's still fighting over the last vestiges of oil. China and America are in a huge war. I'm pretty sure we annexed Canada at one point, uh, which
Wait, Alex,
we're gonna do
is
that later
can I
anyway.
interrupt you
Yeah,
for a
go ahead.
second? Is there a point in which this timeline like diverges from ours, or has it just been completely different?
It's post World War II for sure. It's
Okay,
post World
so
War
up
II.
until World War II, it's like
It's the
roughly
same.
the same.
It's the same,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, so except aliens exist, but I don't want to get into that because I hate that. It's one of the things I hate
Why?
because Bethesda did that. I don't worry about it. Anyway,
Okay.
so China America in a huge war. They fight in Alaska, like a bitter, really bad fight. I'm talking Verdun over here, um, to get the last bits of oil, the last oil, place. And America wins after heavy losses because they have these new like metal suits that are basically walking tanks.
Oh, like mechs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
China's pissed. They nuke the U.S. The U.S. probably nukes them, but it's hard to tell. And then the world is a nuclear apocalypse. But people survive. They survived the nukes and just lived on the surface. Ended up pretty good. I mean, you get the nuclear abominations, but there's also vaults made by a company called Vault Tech, who where you can live completely free from the burdens of life above, but most of them were actually social experiments. They were trying to see, they're performing experiments to see exactly how far humanity can go. They want to get the best of humanity to survive. So they messed with the people in the vaults. And I didn't make a list, but I can probably recall from memory a bunch of the really interesting. I mean, this is the best environmental storytelling you can find in games. So I'll tell you some about those. But yeah, that's the story. So every single protagonist, except in the second Fallout game, came from a vault. No,
So
second
wait.
and New Vegas. My bad.
Okay. So couple questions.
Go ahead at me.
So yeah. So they knew the nuclear war was going to happen, or like how much in advance did they know these things were gonna happen? Or were they just like gonna prepare anyway
Are you
for
talking
the
about Vault Tech or are you talking
Vault
about
Tech? Yeah,
everybody?
Vault
Okay,
Tech.
Vault Tech. Um, so that's pretty. It's kind of debated. My running theory is that they had a personal couple vaults for the big guys up top.
Yeah,
So and maybe high-ranking political or very rich people. They make their vaults for them. But the vast majority of it, I think they were just meant to be experiments. I think they, I think they did expect to use them in the case of an apocalypse, but I
right.
don't think they knew like, oh yeah, it's gonna
Uh,
happen. So I think
so
it was
they were
like
gonna
that.
do the social experiments even if there was no nuclear explosion, post-apocalyptic destruction.
That wouldn't really make sense. I want to say yes, but no. I'm thinking they didn't know whether or not it was gonna happen, but they
Wow.
made the vaults just in case.
Dang,
Obviously
there's
for
some
their own
sick
protection.
people
It's
that
some fucked up stuff, Benjamin. I'm gonna tell you some stuff about it that's really horrifying. Uh,
yeah.
some of them are actually kind of funny, but don't worry about it. Any other questions in my class?
So were there people that didn't go into the vaults and still survived, or is that a
Yeah.
later
Oh, totally.
story?
The
Okay.
majority of people actually.
Oh snap.
It's an oddity when the protagonist comes out of the vault and everyone sees him in a vault suit and they go, "Wow, vault dweller," or
Oh wow, it's like a class of people now or whatever.
yeah, yeah, it's a class of people.
Wow.
Yeah, the first person was called the vault dweller. Second one was the chosen one, but that's kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, vault born. It's stuff like that. So it's weird to see a person in a vault come out of it.
Right. Right. Continue.
Continue. So that's the background of the whole series. I'm gonna give extremely abridged versions of each of the Fallout games. So Fallout 1, it's just some vault kid who gets sent out because the water chip stops working and they can't purify water. There's a super mutant threat where there's these big green guys that are kidnapping people and killing people.
Oh, from the radiation?
Yeah, from the radiation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fictional, man. It's
Right,
fiction,
right,
so
right.
it's got all those crazy monsters. So you go and you get the water chip, but then you have to deal with the super mutants, and there's a freaky glob of flesh that's their master. You either kill him or convince him that his plan didn't work, which is, I'm going to talk about that. It's great.
Right.
And then you're expelled from the vault at the end because everyone sees they'll want to emulate you. They'll want to go out and be a hero, and they can't let that happen, so you're stuck outside. So that was Fallout 1. Fallout 2, you're a descendant of the guy from Fallout 1, and you're the chosen
Oh
one
snap.
because it's like a tribal community now. I'm talking like spears and stuff like that. Um, so there's the Enclave, which is the it's the remnants of the U.S. government, and they become something else. They're not really the U.S. government anymore. They think they're superior to the Wastelanders because they're genetically pure because they live on an oil rig. So after a bunch of hoo-ha, blah blah blah, you go to the oil rig, blow it up, and you come back, and then the epilogue you become Elder. Fallout 3, and this is when Bethesda gets a hold of the license. So this is the normie mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
So you're Liam Neeson's son, right? Um, he worked on a water purifying project and hid in a vault to protect himself and you and his wife. His wife dies during childbirth, whatever. The Enclave is here again. I thought they got blown up. Also, it's the East Coast, not the West Coast. The past two games were on the West Coast, so I don't know what they're doing on the East Coast. The computer, there's a computer president. There's a stupid ending involving the water purifier and radiation, and then there's a DLC ending where they amend that and they go, "Oh, actually, we take it back. Sorry." So you can tell it was kind of a mess there.
Yeah.
I don't have good feelings about Fallout 3. It's a solid game for what it did, but
Yeah.
it really was lacking in some things.
Do you like really have to play through all of them to understand everything, or like
Absolutely not. You could play them
okay.
all separately. You could play just New Vegas, you could play just Fallout 4, you could play the
But,
first two, doesn't matter.
yeah. But I'm sure like playing the other ones like gives you insights into like the lore and maybe some strategies or
Yeah, you'll learn different stuff from the different games about the old ones, and they got different Easter eggs. Fallout 2 was especially wonky, but there's little throwbacks to the other games in some of the games. I can tell you some in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then two more games here. New Vegas, which is a lot of people's favorite. Um, so you're a courier in the wasteland. So it's West Coast again, and you're not a vault dweller. You're to deliver a platinum chip, like a poker chip, to New Vegas, which is a city that seems untouched by the wasteland. Um,
Right.
you are shot in the head for it. You get sucked into a bunch of faction wars trying to get it back. Chip turns out to upgrade a robot army or something.
So
There's
wait. Did you
yeah.
die when you were shot in the head?
No, you lived.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
a robot dug you out.
Well, you just like you were like, oh, shot ahead, and then you were taken in the faction war. I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah, you
whoa.
lived through it. There's a big
Okay.
luck theme throughout New Vegas because it's Vegas, and it actually helps you later. It's pretty interesting. There's a funny little thing that happens that's like, oh wow, you survived because you got shot in the head. That's ironic. But yeah, anyway, there's a bunch of different endings for the different factions, and there's a side story in the DLCs. So the DLCs try different stuff. Like they're way different from the main game, and they each have like a connecting theme and a connecting story with a special character. It's really cool what they did with that. Um, and then the last one, Fallout 4, you're a pre-war mom and dad. So you start the game pre-war in like 2060.
Wait. Which war?
The war that ended the world, man.
Oh, USA and China.
Yeah, so you're pre-war, you're frozen in a vault. You get your kids stolen and your spouse killed. There's an institute that makes robot people, and they replace people in the wasteland with copies of themselves to do their bidding. It's really weird. Um,
The
and
heck?
you get to pretend to care about your son while you screw around. So you pretend to go like, I have to find my son after this side quest. So that's it. Those are the four games.
Wow.
Questions? None?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
So wait. So like, what is the chronology of the games? Like between the, I guess, 5 games. Like, what would be the between,
All right, I'm gonna
like,
give it to you.
chronologically?
Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout 3. I think New Vegas is after Fallout 3, and then Fallout 4. It's
Wait,
chronological.
wait. But you just said that they were before the.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
freaks out
they were
because they're
frozen
frozen
and
in
they
a
would.
vault,
So they
cryogenics.
were woken up in the vault or whatever
Yeah,
after the events of Fallout.
yeah,
Okay, so it keeps pushing.
yeah. They do some
Okay.
whole like time shenanigans where he's like, oh, oh wow, where's my son? And it's like, what? And it's like you run into your old robot friend, and he's like, oh, sir, you're really, really late for dinner. And he's like, it's great.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, let me just talk to you about it. I mean,
Yeah.
how many old games do you play? Because Fallout 1 and 2 were like really old. I'm talking 90s.
Yeah. So the oldest stuff I play and have played mostly like when I was a kid, my dad got me a Nintendo 64. So
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
forgot. I remember playing on that a little bit.
yeah.
That's
When
cool.
we played a little bit. We played some Gauntlet for that one time.
Oh yeah.
Perfect Dark.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah. But no, like that's pretty much as far back as I've played. And then I had a PS2, so I was playing
Oh, I love.
Battle 2, like the game I've probably seen ever, because I had it for much as a kid. But yeah, that's sort of as far back as I've gone. I don't know. I I've sorely missed out on the, all of the main games for all of these series, like Fallout, Assassin, um,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I've like missed a lot of them, so I need to go back and all of these things.
I gotta keep an eye on you in college because I don't want
Yeah.
you to lock yourself in your room and just never come out again. Because you gotta catch up. I'll get you the good
I'll
stuff.
be. Yeah, you'll make sure I like experience like the best of the best, so I
I'll
don't
get
waste
you the
time.
full genres. I'll
Yeah.
get you the best of the best. Don't worry. But yeah, so I'm sure you've played some of the older games, but these are the super old ones. So
Right.
it's so what it is. It's low production, high passion, because that's what these things tended to be back then. So they got a bunch of they put a lot of their creativity into it. So you get really cool stuff, you know. You get a really cool factions. You got stuff like the gun runners, which are people who make a living selling guns. You get a bunch of wacky side quests involving like, whoa, these are definitely not iguana bits that I'm eating. And you know, I really loved it. I played the first one all the way through. I meant to play the second one by the time we did this episode, but I
Right.
haven't. But I heard a lot about how it's a lot wackier. It's a lot lighter and dark. It has darker themes, but it's got way
A lighter
lighter attitude about
tone.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like black humor with a ton of pop culture references. If you look up all the Easter eggs, are really blatant pop culture references,
Yeah.
which they ended up splicing into a perk later because they were like, "Oh, let's put in these references," and they're like, "No, remember Fallout 2? That was way too wacky." So they said, "We'll call it Wild Wasteland. You can take it, and it's a perk, and you don't have to see the Easter eggs." So it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I
But
do need to go and play the first that I should when I get my laptop for college, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that game.
first one was solid. I'm a modern kid, Benjamin. I
Yeah.
grew up playing 3D games right out the beginning. The earliest
Right.
game I can remember was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. But besides that, you know, I've been playing PS2, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I liked it the whole way through. I looked up. I don't think I looked up any guides for any of the main stuff or even the side quests. I
Figured it
managed
out.
on my own. I had to look up how the hell to play normally because it's just the UI is a little old. But
Right.
I managed, and it was fun, man. I remember wondering what was going to happen next, and I couldn't wait to get better gear. One thing I recommend is to invest in plasma weaponry and laser weaponry and stuff, energy weapons, because I used normal guns the whole way through with a really high gun stat. And then at the end, I finally upgraded enough, and I was like, okay, I'm like 80 on this, I'll use it. And I just melted everyone with them. I was like, wow, I should have used this
Wow.
beforehand. But yeah, yeah, it's
Is the
good.
story really good for the first one?
It's pretty solid. Actually, one of the things I said I wanted to talk about was the was fighting the guy at the end. So there's a lot of player choice in terms of what you can say.
Yes.
Fallout 4 really failed in that department. I'll talk about that. But you can choose whether to be a total jerk to people or nice or super nice to them or you know ask more questions or whatever you want to do but
Yeah.
they have realistic responses to what you say
Ah.
so they'll have a response where you say oh go to hell when you're talking to some sort of guard who has a gun and you're like you can insult him and say oh yeah, you're just compensating for something there, buddy. And he'll like shoot you. He'll enter combat or he'll go like if
Wow.
you say one more thing, I'm gonna shoot you in your legs. And he'll do that. And so that threw me off because I was, you know, games nowadays they don't do that because they don't want the player to feel like it's unfair or die from something or lose the chance to do something. Because once you do that, you'll be hostile to maybe the whole city even because, you know, a guard just
Right.
started attacking
Oh
you.
wow. Like it can be that wide concept.
It can be that wide. Luckily, there's
Oh
save
wow.
files, so you got to rotate your saves, so you can still do that. In fact, you might do that for fun, but
Right.
yeah. So make sure you manage the saves
I
because
like that. I mean,
yeah,
you know me and making choices and choose your own adventures. Like,
I
I love
mean,
that.
next episode is Telltale,
Yes.
so I'm gonna. It's about yeah. Okay, we'll worry
Yeah, we'll
about that
talk about
later.
it then. Yeah.
But yeah. So there's actually consequences for that. Um, sometimes you know you might not like it because it's like oh what the hell but it's never like oh wow that shouldn't have happened it's like okay well I did that
Yeah.
so yeah so it was developed by a company called Interplay the dev team was called Black Isle Studios and they published stuff like Baldur's Gate and Planetscape Torment which are also really old but also classics I've been meaning to play Planetscape Torment
Yeah.
um, but it's like D&D kind of stuff, so inspired by that, it's that old. But so Fallout 1 was really nice about all those, you know, decisions and stuff. The difficulty was pretty unforgiving, but you can figure out how to like get it going, how to be really good at it, just as long as you specialize. And people do these crazy runs where they go like no armor, freaking unarmed only. It's crazy.
Boy.
It's just like D&D. I mean, they got
Yeah,
this skill sheet with like, oh, unarmed, energy weapons, plasma weapons, repair, stuff like that.
yeah,
So the thing that I liked about it was that, I mean, it's kind of spoilers for the ending. Are you okay with that? I mean, it's an old game.
yeah. I guess so.
I know it's torture, but
I'll
it'll be a
I'll
long time
bite
till
my
you play
teeth.
it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the ending. So the master is this glob of flesh, and he was a guy who was sent in to this military base, and he was caught in this thing called the FEV, the Forced Evolutionary Virus, which was meant to take humanity to the next step to fight radiation, so that we can like just eat the radiation, you know. And
Yeah.
it worked really well, but now everyone's super huge, green, dumb monsters who just tear people apart for fun. But when he
Uh
fell in, he became this glob of flesh that can basically absorb people. It's kind of weird, you know. It's a fictional part,
uh
and he looks horrifying, by the way. The way they have special characters talk, so most of the time it just shows the little isometric, shows you talking to the guy from up top like it's the gameplay. But for special characters, they have these clay models, clay looking models that talk. So they flip between like, four or five different pictures to make it look like they're talking, and it's really unnerving. And this is a glob of flesh with like
okay.
all hunched over a computer screen, and it flips between like three different voices depending on what he's saying. So there's like there's a husky woman voice, there's a dark angry voice, and there's this kind of weird stinted medical robot sounding voice, and it's really unnerving.
Yeah.
And what he had been doing was dipping people into the FEV virus, and basically, he's been absorbing the ones that come out better, and letting the ones that fail and become the big green monsters to do his muscle. And then once he uses them up and everyone's been dipped, he'll kill all the failed people.
Cow.
Actually,
Yeah.
just kidding. Failed people are the successful people. He wants everyone to be big green monsters. So
Yeah.
So at the end, so what you do, you investigate it, and throughout the thing, you can go into an optional dungeon kind of thing and fight a bunch of robots to get to the info, and you eventually learn they're sterile, Benjamin. When you get dipped into it and it changes and it repairs your genes and stuff, it also gives you too many chromosomes,
Right.
so that your seed has like way too extra chromosomes. You can't breed anymore, man. You can't have kids.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So, yeah, they're dying
so
breed then. Yeah.
yeah, so at the end you can either sneak your way in and kill him or fight your way in and fight the master, who is really rough. Like, you have to have an item to make you not get mentally just exploded. Your head just won't explode just to fight him. And it's an extremely hard fight. Or through deception and stealth,
Ooh.
like you can wear the robes of a church member because there's a church that worships him. You can wear the robes of a church member and bluff your way in, and it's not like disguise donned. You are now a member. Like, no, it's just you're wearing the robes. That's it. There's no like so you actually have to think about it and do this thing. You walk in
Wow.
and you can tell them, "Hey, guess what? Your plans for humanity, like you really want to help humanity, you fucked up. They can't make babies, man. This is the last generation of super mutants and they're the first." And he'll realize that all the killing and stuff he's done was was for nothing, and he'll
Yeah.
just self-destruct. He'll self-destruct the facility because he
Oh wow.
feels
So you
bad
don't
about it.
even
You don't have to
what?
fight him. In fact,
That's like
most
the
of the game,
cheeky thing I did where I like didn't even fight the guy.
yeah, Benjamin, that's right up your alley. The
Yeah.
most of the game, you can you can resolve a lot of the quests non-violently. It might not always be the outcome you want, or you. And I know there's combat in the game if you want to get through some areas, but you have companions that can help you out with that. So you can really focus down on talking, which
Yeah.
is great, man. I love it. Actually, I have pre-made characters that are focused on speech, stealth, and combat. They
Are
have
those
three
like
characters.
skill points? Like,
Yeah, you can also make a custom one and you can distribute them normally. Yeah, man. Yeah.
wow.
I recommend the custom and then specializing. But yeah, so Fallout 1, man, I loved it. Fallout 2, I haven't played. I've gotten to the first city area after the tutorial and stuff. Tutorial sucked, by the. It was the worst. But you play as
Tutorials like normally suck for a lot of things. It's like very rare when you find one where you're like, that's a good. You
This
know what I'm
one
saying? Like you
this
just get to
one
the
was
end.
especially bad, Benjamin. Um, yeah, so this one was like they're forced to put it in at the end because the publisher did or something.
Oh
So
no.
they just stuck
Yeah.
in like I guess you're tribal, so test you in a temple or something, and it's just terrible. You run through, fight some scorpions, and then they have a guy at the end who beats the shit out of you, and then like, oh, I need to test your resolve, or they told me I have to, and you can convince them not. It's
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 like
it's.
mirroring exactly what like the publisher told them.
Oh
They're
my
like saying
God, you're
the
right.
publisher's like you
Like
have
you
to, and then the guy's like, oh, I have to.
You're right. It's like you have to do the tutorial or we'll
They
beat
did
the shit
that.
out of you. Yeah,
They did that.
that's
Like,
great.
um,
But anyway, yeah, it's so if you're asking about references and stuff, you wear the vault suit of the first protagonist of Fallout 1,
oh yeah.
because you're the chosen one, you're this descendant. And you can meet some people. I can't remember exactly, but you can meet some people from Fallout 2, including I think the dog companions from that. There's been a dog companion in basically every single one, and all of them except New Vegas are descended from the same dog from Fallout 1. It's pretty cool. But
Wait,
yeah,
all the dogs?
no, not all the dogs,
Oh, okay.
just the dog companions. I
Oh,
know
okay. I was
it's a
like,
dog
all the
apocalypse.
dogs?
100 puppies, Benjamin.
100 puppies.
100 puppies. Anyway, so I can't really speak too much about Fallout 2, but from what I've played so far, it seems like a bigger, better version of Fallout 1. I know it's a favorite of many Fallout fans, and I can see why. So I'm gonna be it's sitting there on my Steam right now. So I'll do that later.
Yeah.
So this is when they made the switch from isometric to 3D. Technically they had some games, but I don't care about Fallout Tactics or anything. So what
Hey,
happened
Alex.
was, yeah.
Oh, for a noob here, can you explain the difference between I3D, like
Yeah,
what
I
that
could do that.
difference
I can
is?
do that.
Yeah.
So isometric, it's like bird's eye view, but then down a little. So you're looking at them from an angle up top, and
Okay.
that's what a lot of games back then used to do.
To
And
like make it look like it's 3D, but it's not really 3D.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's like sprites, but looking so you
Oh,
get a
okay.
better angle because if it's from top down, you're just seeing the tops of people. It's really hard to
Right.
of them as people in their little circles. But when you do it from an angle, you can see their whole body. You can see around some corners and stuff. Get more choice, and
Okay.
yeah, so they use it like that.
Okay.
Um, 3D is through that.
Right, right, I know.
So what happened was Interplay they had some financial downfall and they got bought out by Bethesda. So they're still there. But most of the Black Isle team was disbanded. They spread out. They're no longer making Fallout. So they also switched from isometric to 3D to probably uh, appeal to a larger audience. They were gonna make an MMO RPG for Fallout, but they had a legal dispute over it and they canceled it. I mean, it was right up till beta. I'm sure you could find out more about it. So this is 2007. Fallout 2 came out in 1998. So they've been making this game for a while after the
Yeah, that is.
failed MMO. And it's time, Benjamin. It's time to appeal to mass market. So they make it 3D. They put emphasis on shooting and stuff, and they reuse a bunch of the old stuff. So you get super mutants and the Enclave in Fallout 3. I know I said it's Enclave is a big threat, but that's just for the narrative. There's two of them.
Right.
Um, the thing is, they also butcher some of the factions, like Brotherhood of Steel. They're the people who hoard technology, and they have a very ordered hierarchy, whatever you pronounce it like, and they
Yeah.
wear the power armor, the suit of metal that I told you about and that they used in Alaska. They use those all the time, and they're at the cover of Fallout 1 despite not being the main narrative faction, just because they're so iconic. They're so you can recognize it instantly, and they're so cool. They're kind of assholes though. They hate everyone except themselves because they don't trust them. But then in Fallout 3, wow, they're the good guys who want to help the wasteland. And ooh, we gotta fight the bad guys. Why? Because it's principle. We can't let them be bad. And that's never what they were about, man. Never.
So they like wrote the like
They made it.
retcon.
They made a.
Yeah.
They. It's not retcon. They justified it as in, oh, this is a faction split that they fled to the East Coast. They were sent to the East Coast on a mission, and then they just split entirely. They decided to. just help the people here, so they cut ties with him.
Was that like an individual like leader of the group?
It
It's
was
like,
the
oh, we
leader
should
of
do
the
this.
it was the leader
Yeah,
of the East Coast group was like, we're gonna stay here and help people, regardless of what you tell us.
yeah.
And it was just it was a move to make a good guy faction, which I'm okay with the whole good versus bad thing, but that was never what Brotherhood of Steel was about. I can't imagine them changing their mind and doing that. I can't see
Yeah.
it. But anyway, so one thing, Benjamin, they did it. The rest of it, the mechanics, the transferring of these mechanics to 3D, they nailed it. Now the shooting's
Oh.
trash, man. The controls are wonky as hell, but it works great. One of the things that they have is VATS, Vault Assisted Targeting System, and that's how you targeted specific body parts in Fallout 1 and 2 because it was turn-based. So they took a turn-based system
Oh
and made it
wait,
3D.
you
Yeah.
never said. Oh, turn. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was
Interesting.
turn-based, man. Sorry, the combat was.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's real time, and then they spot each other, and then it's turn-based. But
Oh.
yeah, so VATS was like it has like this green matrix looking version of the enemy on the bottom, and you select the eyes or the groin or the arm or the leg. And what it happens in the 3D environment, it freezes the game, so everyone's frozen in time, and then you click on the body part you want to shoot at, which is the head, arms, torso, or legs, and then you spend you have a meter that you can use, so it'll deplete as you click, and then you press accept, and then it'll do this sick, cool ass slow motion shooting bullets at 'em, watch the bullets fly through the air, see their head explode. It was amazing. People loved it, and it was a
Yeah.
great way to transfer it from isometric to 3D. I think it worked great. So Bethesda's great for doing that. And I think that was super cool. I mean, I love the 3D Fallouts. The
Right.
thing is, the story was trash, Benjamin. The story was so stupid. I mean, you got Liam Neeson as your dad. You have him playing your dad because they wanted popular, they wanted popular people to sell the game.
Oh, so when you're saying Liam Neeson, you literally mean Liam, not just
He's the actor
stock
playing your
character.
dad, and they
Yeah.
tried to model him after Liam, but it didn't work. It didn't work so great
it
because the engine's also very
was
trash.
it was too magnificent.
Oh yeah, seriously. So, hold on. What do they even call what do they even call the engine? I don't even remember. I hated it so much. Fallout 3 engine. Game Brio engine. God, they've been using it since like 2005. It's the worst. I don't know what they used for Fallout 4 is better. I don't know if they just changed it or used something else, but the engine is terrible. Anyway, the story's the worst. Uh, the story, let me summarize it for you. Um, I already did summarize it, didn't I?
A
Well, let me
little bit.
just tell you there's a million plot holes. Why is the Enclave still alive? Okay. Why do they have a computer president?
Yeah.
The dialogue is really terrible, Benjamin. You can convince the computer to kill itself. That's like your computer or something. You shouldn't lead. And he's like, "You're right. I'll self-destruct everything. You better get out before it explodes." It's stupid.
But you can't reason with what? I don't know. That's weird.
I know
Yeah.
like think about it. Fallout 1 when you're talking to the master, you can't convince him through empathy or emotion because that's not why he's doing what he's doing. He's
Right.
doing because it's like the numbers kind of thing. When the trolley problem where I'm just trying to save the biggest amount of people as possible regardless of
Right.
the other cost. And to him that was future-proofing humanity. So when you tell him, hey, your plan doesn't work and you did this for nothing, he's genuinely distraught because he's done atrocities. That's why he just completely repents and just blows everything up because he can't live anymore after what he's done because he thought he was doing something good and it was trash.
Right.
His methods were wrong. In Fallout 3, they just had it in there so to parallel it. They had it in there so you can say that you don't have to fight the Enclave. You can convince them, but it was just totally empty. Empty argument is so stupid. I know when people post about it on 4chan, and if you post about it on 4chan, there's going to be an argument over Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and New Vegas is going to win. Uh, and it'll be like speech check 100%. You're a robot or something like that, or like or intelligence check. Hey, you're the guy in charge of the radio or something. It's so stupid.
Yeah. So,
And yeah,
third time is not the charm.
third time's not the charm.
Yes.
Fallout 3 was great for how they made the switch pretty cleanly, but the actual writing and stuff, even the mechanics, the speech checks in the past, there's no indicator for speech checks in Fallout 1 and 2. It's just if you have a speech skill high enough, it'll have a new dialogue option, and it doesn't indicate that it's new. It's just an option. I don't like that, but Fallout
Yeah.
3, it'll say speech and then a percentage. So you can quick save and then just spam that over and over with the speech skill 1 until you get it. And that sucks. And I know it's like, well, that's the player's fault for cheesing it, but I don't think it is. I think it's a design decision that they fixed in New Vegas. Also, one of the DLCs is an Alien DLC, which it was an Easter egg in the previous games, but now guess what? Aliens are canon. So there are aliens now, Benjamin. Cool, that's cool. I needed aliens in this post-apocalyptic game with radiation. Thanks. I don't know. It's not the best. It's not the best. But that moves on to New Vegas. So Obsidian Entertainment was founded by a bunch of ex-Black Isle employees. So those are the guys who
Right.
made Fallout 1 and 2. So they're at the top of the company here, Obsidian. And they've made stuff like Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Oh yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, that's a popular one. Neverwinter Nights, which is getting a remaster right now, Benjamin. South Park, The Stick of Truth. Yeah, that.
I've heard of that.
And Alpha Protocol, which I've heard mixed things about, but apparently a lot of people have played it, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So they have a nice track record and stuff. So they approach Bethesda and they go, hey, can we do a spin-off? Can we do one game set in the West Coast? It won't have to do with your East Coast, we'll leave that untouched. And they say, you know what? Go ahead. You have 1 year to do it. So they have a single year to use this crap engine to make this big story they have in mind, and they did it, Benjamin. I mean, it's janky as New Vegas. You can tell pieces of it are unfinished,
Yeah,
but the
that they were trying.
story and the way it intersects and the factions, it's incredible, Benjamin. It's way, way, way better than Fallout
That's what I'm
3.
about is stories.
Yeah, if you want to have, like, if you just want to like throw yourself into Fallout, you can play it chronologically. But if you just want to have a good game that's set in the Fallout universe, do New Vegas. It has way better role play potential because the dialogue isn't. It's way better, and the speech checks they're any skill checks because you don't have to have a speech check to convince people to do something. You can be a total. You could be totally autistic. You don't know how to talk to people
Yeah.
because your speech skill is zero. And you know what? If you are extremely good at repair, you can convince someone to fix something to fix this thing via a workaround, a repair workaround. You have speech checks other than just speech skill.
Oh yeah, so it's helpful all around.
So
Yeah.
if you have a great survival skill, you can reset someone's leg, or a great medicine skill, you can heal someone without going out and fetching what they want you to fetch. Because you can say, oh, here you can just make a splint like this. You don't have to have more. You don't have to have the medical supplies. I mean, it's great. Um, the story itself is awesome. You can choose between three different factions, and the philosophy behind it is amazing. So, I mean, I'm talking it up, and I'm being really vague. Let me just basically, it's a form of government. How
Right.
should government be? Okay, what are the intentions of it? Do means justify the ends? So you got Caesar's Legion, which is an old-timey kind of thing. They
Where
emulate
the
the
ends,
Romans.
sorry, the ends justify the means.
The ends justify
Yeah,
the
yeah,
means. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
No,
So
that's fine. I
we
like
just
for a
woke
second I
up
was like,
before doing this one, guys. We're teenagers. Come on. So Caesar's Legion, they say no technology. Okay, it's ruled by one person who renamed
Caesar.
himself to Caesar. Yeah, yeah, I know.
Caesar's Legion. I got it. Yes.
Yeah, so is technology, is that what caused the apocalypse? Okay? Is autocracy okay when it's making progress? These people use barbaric means. Okay, is that all right? Does the end justify that? Okay, are they repeating the past? Do you think emulating the past is is a good thing? Do you think that'll stop? another apocalypse or something in the future.
Yeah.
But isn't that the past? Didn't that happen in the past? Shouldn't we move on from that?
So how
Um,
barbaric
yeah,
are these?
they enslave people. They treat
Oh,
women
boy, they bring
horribly.
slavery back.
Yeah, they bring slavery back, man. It's pretty, yeah.
Oh,
They treat women it, exactly what you think they treat them like. Even Rome didn't treat them like that, I don't think. Um,
yeah, not really anyway.
they don't explicitly show it because, got to keep that rating. But yeah, they they're cruel, they torture, they're horrible. You don't
Yeah.
want to be caught by them. The alternative is the NCR, the New Californian Republic, which again they're
Ah,
emulating the past, Benjamin.
right.
It's the New Californian Republic, and they're encompassing what America was before the war, which led to a nuclear disaster technically.
Uh-huh.
Um, but the thing is, they do regulate themselves. They aren't barbarians.
They have laws.
They have laws. Okay. But the thing is, they have other means of being terrible to people. They tax people hugely. They just annexed New Vegas. They can't get directly into it because of this robot army, but
Yeah.
everything around New Vegas, they just said, all right, they planted their flag on it and went, it's ours. And you can tell through certain quests, they're really overextended. I mean, the
Yeah.
president of theirs is just being really greedy. They just want as much land as possible. But, a lot of people side with them because it's cool, because
Do
it's
they
like
have
America.
education? Like, do they have school?
I believe they do. Apparently, life over in their home, their home state back in the NCR, which by the way was founded by a girl you save in Fallout 1, which is pretty
Oh,
cool.
snap.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. New Vegas is full of that because it's West Coast.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently it's great over there. There's
Yeah.
a running economy with with infrastructure like highways they can go on.
Edu
It
because to
there's
me, education would
education.
be really
I'm pretty
important.
sure there's education.
Know what's going on.
Yeah,
In
man,
my
they got it all. But they have their own drawbacks. And then finally, there's Mr. House, who is this guy who never shows himself to you. He only speaks from a computer screen. He's in charge of New Vegas. He dominates New Vegas with these tribals that he reformed. He rules with a robot army, and
boy.
he's clearly like a dictator. But he is never, a total he's not a total jerk the whole time. The only time he's bad is when he wants you to destroy the Brotherhood when you work for him because
Yeah.
they're the only threat to him. But besides that, he made New Vegas so that he could preserve the old life so that people don't have to roll around in the dirt and fight each other for water or whatever. Um, he doesn't. He's not a jerk to you, man. He compensates you for your work, even extra, because you got shot.
Right.
He doesn't treat you like trash. He gives you a choice to help him or not. But the thing is, he's a total dictator, and he's kind of an asshole. He comes off as
Yeah.
a jerk. Uh, but honestly, he's not a bad choice. I feel like it's either him or the NCR for me.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, it would be between those two. I don't think I could ever side with Caesar
Yeah.
unless I was working my way up to kill him.
Which, you know what, Benjamin? You can do that
What?
because you can play
Oh,
all
snap.
sides, Benjamin. You can go wild card route and
Oh
rule
my
it for
God.
yourself, Benjamin.
Wait, you can go fourth, like
You
fourth
can go
way and just
you can
take
take a
everyone down.
fourth choice, baby. You can choose to work for yourself and overthrow every single one of them. And there's a
Holy cow.
which is but think about this, Benjamin. It's an anarchy route. It's
Yeah.
every man is a king route. So that's so you feel like everyone should rule themselves, which, you know, depends on how you turn out, how's the place going to turn
Right.
out. And that's also a pretty solid ending, at least in my opinion. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking long-term consequences
Right.
because they
Right.
only show the
Yeah.
short-term consequences. So you go on the forums and you talk about it. There's a huge argument about the long-term wellness of the Mojave. Uh,
Are there people that say that like Caesar's way is the best and
oh,
they're not being
completely.
ironic?
Oh, completely. Yeah,
Oh.
they think that's the best way to go. I I don't agree with them. And
Yeah.
and truth be told, Caesar's Legion really got the short stick because again, the development
They
time
made
was
them too
zero.
evil. Like
No, no, no,
they
no.
should have.
The development time was zero, and they didn't get enough time to
Yeah.
develop their side of things. So you can still do their missions. I still got the main stuff, but it's not nearly as developed as the NCR
Yeah.
route, which sucks. Which sucks because it would have been great to
Well,
see the other side.
because it's always better when it's as gray as possible. Like that's what I love. Like
Mm.
as much as you can make every side seem like good and
Viable.
bad, like or viable, like that you could at least like see yourself in it. Like that makes it even more amazing.
Yeah.
Like because then it's like, oh, I don't know which one is better.
I
It
mean,
makes you think about your choices.
I don't think in every situation, but I think that's the best kind is when it's like that. And that's why I like
Yeah.
New Vegas is because they try to do that. I know it sucks,
Well, no,
Caesar's Legion,
not
but
in all situations. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
agree. Because
yeah,
sometimes you do need like something to unite against.
yeah.
But
So
then
they're
still, I don't know, make them a monster, make them a monster with a little bit of a heart. I
a
don't know.
Monsters Incorporated.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so they're the designated bad guys, which sucks, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's still got a trash engine though. It's the same engine because they didn't have time. They don't have
The,
time to do that. Uh, but it's amazing how much they managed to pack in like a year of development time. It's terrible.
yeah.
They're treated like trash. It's much more faithful to the first two Fallouts. Obviously, it's got the modern stuff, 3D and everything, but it's as close to a 3D Fallout 2 that you're gonna get. The DLCs are really stroke of genius. So what happens is they get a bunch of different flavors of DLC. You go to Zion Canyon for one of them, and you help some technologically impaired tribals fight with each other. You go to Big Mountain, and it's this big crater, and it's a much more lighthearted romp with technology and brains in jars. Uh, and the wrinkle in your brain, that's the thing that stopped them from lobotomizing you, is because the machine that did it recognized an anomaly in your brain. So that was cool. And it has a bunch of
yeah.
fun toys. Um, you got Dead Money, which people either love or hate, because it takes
Yeah.
away all of your stuff, and you're in the Sierra Casino, and it's based on this old movie, this heist movie. I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Sierra Madre, and
Yeah.
it has a great themes about letting go. Because I don't even know if I want to spoil it. I'm gonna say it. Uh,
Okay.
at the end, you get this vault, and it's full of all this treasure, all of your companions that you're forced to work with because you had bomb collars on you.
Hmm.
They all wanted to get to this one place. So you finally get there, and there's gold, Benjamin. There's so much gold. They're worth 9,000 caps each, or something crazy like that. You're going to be rich, Benjamin. You're never going to want for money again, but they weigh a ton. You have a weight limit in this game. You can take like two, maybe. Okay, you can take a couple if you have a huge strength skill. But if you take enough, the place is going to explode. So you can't walk out with 100,000 caps because you'll die if you do that. You have to let go of all this treasure and leave. Doesn't
No.
stop people from figuring out a way anyway. I mean, they cheese it hard, but uh, unless you like really min max and you try it a million times, you're never gonna get out with that. Uh, and then finally, there's this big finale because there's this character that's alluded to in every single DLC. There's even a small hint to him in the main game, and he's the shadow version of the courier, basically. He
Yeah.
was also a courier. He worked for Caesar's Legion, but he left after something happened, and he blames everything about this one atrocity on you, and he brings you to this really hell-torn landscape, hard as it gets. The way they're all linked is just really good. I'm not really doing it justice because I tend to ramble. You know that,
Now I
Benjamin.
feel like I'm taking in the world.
Yeah, well, I just gotta say New Vegas is probably the best one, and I'm really
Yeah.
impressed with Obsidian because they did it in such a short time frame with a lot less liberty, and I don't think they're ever gonna get a hold of the IP again because I'm pretty sure Bethesda doesn't want them showing them up again because people always talk bad about Bethesda now.
Hey.
Fallout 4. So that's the most recent one. That's the one where you can look up E3 footage and people go nuts and throw themselves against the wall when they hear it's happening. Uh, it's way better in terms of gameplay. The shooting's better, customization is better for the guns because there's actual customization. The world is packed with stuff. It's all that good stuff, but there's no role-playing potential. You know how I said you're a vault dweller or the chosen one or a courier or something like that for the other games not developed by Bethesda. Well, Fallout 3 and 4, you don't get to choose who you are. In Fallout 3, you could at least kind of say, "Oh, I'm a kid from a vault who's a jerk," or "I'm a kid from a vault who's a good guy." You can kind of worm it in there. But Fallout 4, you are a pre-war husband or wife.
Oh, so it's like set, like
It's set, yeah. And yeah, you have dialogue options to mold your character, but get this, they voiced all the protagonist's lines. They didn't do that for the old ones. So while the old ones they can have the full text as the choice, and this one they have these weird little you know Telltale, you play Telltale, they have
yeah, yeah,
summaries, little summaries of it.
yeah,
And your guy will say this long sentence based on this like 3 words that you can see at the bottom of the screen. And
right.
they went they went like the Mass Effect route where it's 4 choices every time. So that
Uh,
if it's really something that only needs 2 or 3, they have to put a fourth one. Or if there's something that could have
ah,
way more things that could happen, they only have 4 choices. And get this, Benjamin, every single choice is yes, no, maybe, tell me more about it. Every single dialogue choice. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the fact
no,
that they voiced it means they have to cut down on all that dialogue dramatically because it costs tons of money.
yeah.
So they just totally shot themselves in the foot. And there's no role playing. I hate it. The engine's better, yeah, but I feel like they lost something huge. I don't know. I haven't finished it. The factions are better than Fallout 3, that's for sure. And it's pretty cool how they have the whole Blade Runner kind of uh, robot infiltration. I love that. But I don't know. I just can't really get into it. If you talk about it online, people will be poking holes in it, talking about why is the Institute doing this. But whatever. I just, I don't, I can't, it can't engage me that full time. They also have a settlement building thing, so if you like creating a little city or whatever, it's all you, buddy. Do you play games like that? Sims? I know
Uh,
we've played
I mean, I
Civilization,
played for any of you out there, Crusader 2.
Crusader Kings
Um,
2, yeah.
yeah, where you like it's pretty much a not sand blocks,
Sand
sandbox,
Roblox.
Roblox.
Oof.
No, sandbox game where you are like sort of the times of the Crusades, right? Crusader King. And you pretty much get to morph your own dynasty and play as each child as the person dies, and you get to. So not really a city, but like that's
Country, yeah. But I get what you mean,
or
yeah.
civilization, Civ 5.
So that's up your alley. You can make these the whole thing is it's like the it's like Revolutionary War themes. And you got to settle America again, basically. So you'll go, there's all these little places where you can build settlements, and it's 3D environment. You can
Yeah,
choose how to build the buildings, uh, by yourself. You can set the foundation yourself, so you can put it wherever you want. You have to provide water and food and security. You can assign wastelanders to guard posts or make turrets. It's really fun. It's like a turret defense, but also settlement building. So a
hmm
lot of people love that. You can sink a ton of hours into that, or you can
yeah.
ignore it. Doesn't matter. But the factions, I don't know, there's Minutemen, which is like the militia, which you can rebuild. Um, there's the Brotherhood of Steel, which you can side with this time, finally, for the first time.
Are they still good or are they evil or
Okay, so New
they?
Vegas, it's West Coast, so they went back to their hoarding, their technology, and so they're isolated, and you gotta there's quests pertaining to that. So you can change their future depending on whether or not you agree with them. Like people should not get this technology, or you can say
Yeah.
you need to open yourself up. Fallout 4, they turn into kind of Nazis. Basically, they made them
Holy.
into like we have to purify the wasteland of synths, and that's one of the big arguments is are synths people because they can feel emotion and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like we're talking about that
Anyway,
one time. Like, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, like yeah, in the morals episode.
yeah, with yeah.
But Yeah, so you'll find a bunch of people sided with them just because it's cool, because you can be part of the military brotherhood, get a cool suit, fight the synths. I hate synths. People are like, kill all synths. There's a bunch of that stuff, so that's fun. But
Yeah.
no, I don't know. It's hard to agree with them.
Yeah.
That you can side with the Institute, which is the remains of MIT. It takes place in Boston, so
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
Minutemen.
why.
I
Yeah,
see.
they get like synth gorillas in their home base, which is pretty cool. But I don't know. I didn't get that far into it, so again, I can't tell you. But they all end the same. They all end the same. You nuke someplace. You nuke the Institute, basically, or you blow up the blimp. That's it. The Brotherhood blimp. They're on a blimp. I don't know, Benjamin. I can't tell you much about Fallout 4. It's not really my speed.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, it's infamous for its mods. It's like Skyrim. You can get some
Oh
weird
yeah, it's one of
mods,
those.
get some funny ones. Uh, I don't know. Kind of running out of steam here. That's all I got. Other than this, I got shout outs for the Stalker series. I'll do that on like a Russian episode. Wasteland, The Road, Metro 2033, all of those
Yeah.
things, very much like Fallout.
Yeah.
Got anything to
Those are
add,
some nice
Benjamin?
books too. Metro 20. I know that's
Yeah, yeah, the
like the
books.
book. Yeah.
It's based on a book, the game, yeah.
Yeah.
I read it.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
not gonna do an episode on that. Maybe on the book episode, I don't know.
Yeah. I
But
also want to. At some point, we will do a Napoleon. Just
oh,
like I have to,
yeah.
and I'm going to. This will be my turn to provide the full entire story from my perspective.
From
The
your
full
from
entire
You were
story
there when
of
it happened.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
You were there when it happened. We need to know you.
Yes.
Let me put that on the idea sheet. Napoleon.
Yes.
Dynamite.
No, no. How dare he use that name? He doesn't deserve it.
He didn't earn it. He's the direct
Didn't
descendant, God
earn
damn it. He deserves it.
it.
All right. Well, I think that's about all. You're gonna come
Yeah.
over like right after this probably, or right after
Yes.
lunch.
Yeah, I'm
Do you
gonna
need a
eat lunch
ride?
as quickly as possible.
Do you need a
Yeah.
ride?
No, I'm good.
All right,
Good.
cool. Come on over. You're not
Yeah.
gonna walk here, are you?
No, I'm not gonna walk. Like that one time
Okay.
I walked. That's
That
because I
one
wanted the
time you walked.
exercise. But I've
I guess
already
that's
I've
so
already
cool.
run a mile today.
Yeah, I can't wait for a way out. I love that. It sounds
I
super
know it's
cool.
gonna
It's
be
sitting
fun.
here on my PS4 ready for us. So, all right,
Sweet.
Benjamin. That's it.
Yep.
Bone and Ben signing off.